British Souls-like, overdone. Souls-like, overdone. SpongeBob Souls-like. Now this is one I could vibe with.
Is somebody there?
Don't look at me!
Mr. Krabs?
Leave me be!
You're alive! And naked.
I am a massive fan of Souls-like games, from Dark Souls 3 to the original Dark Souls to Elden Ring to Sekiro, if you want to consider that a Souls-like, to Lies of P to Another Crab's Treasure. Another Crab's Treasure is a game I refer to lovingly as the SpongeBob Souls-like, and often view it as a great launching off point for kids into the Souls-like genre. Now, that's not to say that this game is completely like kiddie. It's not slop, but it's to say that this is a game I could sit a child down with and be assured that they would be getting good messages. The game wouldn't be too mature for them. There are some moments where it's a little edgier, but I'd compare it more to Shrek than to something like Dark Souls, which is a lot more adult. Another Crab's Treasure is not just any other Souls-like to me. I played through it and I had a blast with it. It was a little too easy, but I don't mind that. There's so much heart, there's so much joy and pleasure and just nice gotten out of it that I felt I needed to talk about it in a longer format. The story of this game is fairly simple. You play as a crab named Krillo who's had his home repossessed by a local kingdom. You go on a quest to get this back. Over the course of the game, you meet new characters, you grow closer to the world, and this is all impactful because the main character shows resistance against this constantly, just kind of wanting to return home. And so by the end of the journey, this theming of self isolation comes back when he realizes that he no longer wants to be alone and he wants to help actually make the world a better place for these people he's learned to care about and become friends with. One of the more background elements of the game's story is pollution. Throughout the game, you are coming across garbage. You use garbage as shells, you use garbage as currency. Everyone wants garbage. Garbage, garbage, garbage. You're in the bottom of the ocean, and all you could see is garbage. It's a heavy reliance on pollution, and eventually this all ties back into the main theming of the story of needing not to self-isolate, not to isolate yourself and grow attached to apathy, but to come together with others to attempt to make the world a better place bit by bit and piece by piece at a time. The game's story deals with complex themes of self-isolation, consumerism, pollution, and selfishness. And all of these are tied together in a very neat bow to make a story that feels satisfying as well as purposeful in its messaging. Story is only one half of the puzzle of a game, though. You need story, and then you need I quite enjoy the gameplay of Another Crab's Treasure, even if I find it a little easy at times. At standard, it's a Souls-like, but it has a few unique elements that set it out from the sea of Souls-likes. The first thing that sets this apart is the shells. There are many shells in the game, and you wear them, and each one has a special ability. The idea of the gameplay loop around this is that you use a shell, and then when it's broken, there's one other in the arena that you pick up and you use. So you're always having a diverse set of gameplay, whether you're using a soda can shell or a shot glass shell, which each do completely different things and change up the way you play. The way this game handles parrying is a lot different than something like Sekiro or Lies of P, where instead of you wanting to block the moment an enemy attacks, you want to release the moment an enemy attacks. So it's like you're pushing the attack away with your shell. This produces a very satisfying loop and gets a takes a little bit to get a hang of, but once you do, you're locked in and the game kind of becomes a breeze from here. With all of that said, I did find this game just to be a tad too easy because of its skill system, which often breaks the gameplay loop. There's skills you could get fairly early on that replenish the health of your shell, as well as just replenishing your shell altogether when it breaks for a first time. In something like New Game Plus, where enemies are hitting a lot harder, so you're getting a new shell more often, this isn't as much of an issue, and you often are having to scavenge for shells again, like in early game. But in your main playthrough, which I believe most people will be doing for the game, I think that the loop is broken by these skills, and if they were to do a sequel or anything else, I wouldn't want skills like this, and I'd like this gameplay loop of scavenging for shells to be fulfilled a little more. Aside from combat, the game bolsters a semi-open world. It's similar more so to like a Darksiders 2 or a Zelda, where you're running around and there's like mini dungeons, there's mini bosses, there's points of interest, there's stuff to do in the world, and the smaller feel I think works out a lot better. You have areas like the Sands Between, which feel a little empty just because they're too large, and just kind of lead off and act more as a hub area than as a area itself. The game also bolsters semi-platforming with a grapple hook and wall climbing. Again, similar to something like Darksiders 2. This works fine. I think it's a little clunky at times, but it does what it's supposed to do, and oftentimes you could get some satisfying platforming tricks done. I think in a lot of these smaller areas, there are secrets worth finding. There are sometimes shells hidden, there are upgrades to your weapons, and there are costumes. I myself found quite a few little Easter eggs hidden around, like the Dark Souls bonfire, the Iron Pineapple referencing the YouTuber, and other things like that. So overall, I find the gameplay of this game pretty fun. I think it has a rewarding loop. I think that it's a little easy at times and makes itself a little easy, ruining its own loops, which is a big critique, I know, but the game itself is still very solid and fun to play, despite this. I think the open world is a little too large at times and doesn't have enough in it and comes across a little empty, but I still think that when it shines with smaller areas and less of these like semi-open worlds, it works a lot better. And the platforming itself can feel a little janky at times, but serves its purpose, and you could get some good moments across with it. I think overall, nothing in the gameplay really made my time unenjoyable, and oftentimes I found myself enjoying this loop quite a bit. When you get the parry system down, it's like crack. Overall, I think Another Crab's Treasure is a great first go at for a Souls-like. I think what it attempts, it does well with a diverse shell system, a story that's not simple, but not complex, but not brain dead. It's somewhere in the middle of all that. I think its themings are strong. I think its art direction is strong. I think the game itself is just extremely solid with a few kinks it needs to work out. I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but I'd call it a damn good time. And honestly, I can't recommend this enough. It's a game full of heart, it's a game full of soul, and that's honestly what I'm looking for when I'm playing a piece of art like this. I'm not really a fan of review scores. I think they're too vague, and I think they leave too much to interpretation. Despite doing one in the last video, I think I'm going to avoid that and just leave it at that. I think this is a great game that I can't recommend enough. I think it's flawed, but I don't think it's bad. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for sitting through 10 minutes of me basically rambling about something I enjoyed. I hope you all have a great day and stay cheesy, my friends.